Hey, thanks for accidentally clicking on Tablenauts. I'm Doolin, and today I have a whole bunch of games that I'm going to review for you and tell you if I'm going to keep them in my collection or I'm going to cull them. And on top of that, it should just be fun because I've been needing to do this video for like 2 months, and I'm sorry. I'm so far behind, but I will say, it was all for good reason. Emily and I actually got to have a lovely, lovely vacation during the month of June. And also on top of that, we got really busy with like camps and stuff like that. So I'm back at it. And this video will serve as a way to catch us up. Now I will say, unfortunately, because of the rules that I established, because I'm dumb, I have added to that list in the last 2 months. And that is a collection of 8 games. I will say that due to some games that I got now and also people pointing out that at the end of the year, Doolin, you might be getting quite a few gifts for Christmas. And do you really want to promise that you'll play those when it'll be December 25th when you open those? And so the new rule, now that June, July has all passed, is that if I am gifted a game, I do not have to play it by the end of the year. It will sit in my collection, in my shelf of shame, in a separate pile, and I will tell you about those at the beginning of the new year, and I'm not going to worry about those. However, if I buy a game, it still gets added to the list, and this is all personal responsibility, me trying to be better at being a member of this hobby, and that is to keep myself accountable. If I buy a game, still got to play it. Still going to count. That way I don't get out of control with just buying games. Oh, they don't count anymore. So I will tell you very quickly the 8 ads, because I'm sure most of these will actually get covered in the Gen Con recap video that we're doing with Kenny and Max. But I got Courtesans by Pandasaurus Games, Fairy and Panda Panda by All Play Games. I got Dungeon Cart by Brotherwise Games. I got Get Bit. I actually don't know who that one is by. Witchcraft by 25th Century. Gateway Island by Van Ryder. And also KARIBA, which I bought. I think the only one out of that list I bought not at Gen Con, and that was actually bought in France at a really, really cute little board game shop. So with that, I think that puts our total at 208 games. But let's get to the good news. Let's start counting down and see how good we look going into the rest of August. So anyway, first up is a game that I've talked about over the years on Tablenauts, and unfortunately, over time, it's not soured. I just think that, I've played it a lot. I think all games kind of have not maybe an expiration date, but it's more about how many times you've played it and how many times you've gone back to it, and then at some point, when does it become stale? And Fuse by Renegade Game Studio is a keep for me for now, but it is dropped from a one that I will go back to time and time again to just a 3.5. It's good. It's a dice rolling, dexterity, fast-paced, beat the clock type of game that King Klenko is known for. And I think this is maybe the purest out of all of those games that he's made. After I've played it 40 plus times, at this point I'm getting kind of tired of it, but that doesn't necessarily knock the game so much that it's going to drop out of my collection. For now, it's there. I'm keeping it, but 3 out of 5. Bandada is next by Runneman Games. Now this one is a special one for Tablenauts because I think it was the very first game we ever got sent to cover. We were sent Bandada's prototype a long, long time ago before it became to Kickstarter. Max and I played it. We both loved it. It was one of my first solo games I think I ever played because I wanted to play the solo mode to review it. And it's still great. I still love it. It's a keep, and this one's a 4 out of 5. It's a great for me. And as I say these numbers, I know that you're like, okay, why in the world are you saying this? I'm attaching each of them to a adjective as well. So 3 out of 5. I already said it's good. And that's the lowest of good that it can get before it goes meh and then bad. But 4 out of 5, those are an 8 out of 10, however you want to look at it. It's really, really good to me. It's great is what is the word I use. Anything that's 4 or greater or higher is great. Next up is Rolling Realms by Stonemaier Games. This is an easy keep for me. It's also a 4 out of 5. This one is a roll and write that Stonemaier uses to also just kind of slightly push all of their other games. And Kenny actually got the Rolling Realms Redux, or like the re-release, and so that might be the only reason I might ever cull this. But I think I like just having my personal like own version that I can play. But I'm excited because I think this means that Max will get to try it soon too. Rolling Realms, really, really fun. Then Beacon Patrol. I'm going through these really quickly because we have so many games to get through. Beacon Patrol by Pandasaurus Game. This is another 4 out of 5 for me. It is a fantastic cooperative tile-laying game, and I think it's actually a fantastic solo game if you want to play it that way. And the little additions that you can throw in, the included, I don't really want to call them expansions if you're not having to buy them, but any included additions really spice the game up for me, and I play with all of them. It's also beautiful. Like, it's very simple artwork, but it reminds me of like Nova Scotia, or like one of those northern like sea towns with a lot of islands off the coast of them. Beautiful, beautiful little game. That leads me to the next one. A lot of little tiny games, you'll notice. Emily and I got a lot of these done together. Next up being JEKYLL vs. HYDE by Mandu Games. This is a keep, and it is the highest of all of the games so far at a 4.5 out of 5. Nearly perfect score, and I've used the word outstanding for 4.5. I know that some of you are like, I don't give a crap, but just know this is a really, really good game. It's a asymmetric trick-taking game with certain cards, potions, if you will, giving you abilities to use on your turn, and it's just really fun. I love playing it where one of us is JEKYLL and one of us is HYDE, and then turning around and playing it the opposite way, like right up next. And I actually played against Kenny a bunch on BGA this last month, and he was really good at it. I'm apparently not very good at this game, but very, very fun. That leads me to BOTANIK by Space Cowboys, and this is also a keep. Thank you, Michelle, for gifting us this game a long time ago. I'm sorry that it took us so long to get the physical version played, but I gave it a 3.5 out of 5, which, you know, I've said 4.5 outstanding, 4 great, 3 good. 3.5 is pretty good, which sounds stupid because we already use the word good, but like 3.5 is not great, but it's also not just good. It's pretty good. So to me, BOTANIK is a very fun little tile laying game. I also love that there's a puzzle in how you get them onto your board, and it's also very nice to look at. It's just, I think this one I might need more plays for it to grow on me. But 3.5 is nothing to like, you know, turn your nose up at. I think that this is a very good game. So much so that a 3.5 to me is really good. Anyway, getting to the next game, it is Sheepy Time by AEG, and this is one that has grown on me quite a bit. Emily and I love to break this game out. It's a simple push your luck style cute game about sheep trying to, you know, circle the board before the nightmare wakes you up. And so I really like it. It's 3.5 out of 5 for me. It's nothing that like is insane. And AEG, if you are watching this, know that for one, I love a lot of your games, but for two, Sheepy Time deserves an expansion. You give your expansions to so many other games. I want more monsters. I really do. Like, there's only 3 monsters in the base box that you can play against, and I want more. I think that this game would be really easy to make more monsters for. Just give me like a little small box expansion to Sheepy Time, and I bet you a lot of people would be interested, or at least I would. And that's really all that matters, AEG. Anyway, next up is our first call. And this one's going to be a bit controversial, I'm sure, because I know that this game is beloved. And in fact, I really like it. It's never going to get played optimally. I've only played this cooperatively, and I like it cooperatively. I just think that there are games that do what it does better. And I've heard that the competitive play is really, really good. I don't think it'll ever happen. I really don't. And so I am calling Star Wars Imperial Assault by Fantasy Flight Games. This to me is, I'm only rating it based off of the co-op mode. So huge asterisk next to this rating, but I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Pretty good. I enjoyed the cooperative mode with the app leading you through everything. It just wasn't that great of an app, and it left me wanting a whole lot more out of it. And again, I think that there was tons I missed out on because I didn't play it competitively. I just don't have the group for it. I really don't. And so I'm passing on it. I'm going to sell it to somebody else, and I'm going to continue to play games that will actually see the table. So next up is Shards of Infinity by Stoneblade Games, and this is our very first perfect store. It is an easy keep. It's a 5 out of 5 for me. I play the app all the time, but I really enjoy owning the physical copy as well because Emily and I love to play it. But amazing game, incredible game. There is a person in our Discord, Logan, who I play against all the time. I also play against Furia. I also play against Drew. I also play against Mitch from MS for Meeple. I also play against Jazz sometimes from the Lobby of Hobbies. There are a lot of people that I play this game against pretty regularly, but Logan especially. We have over 100 games now, and we're pretty even. I think our score is like 57, 54. And that's awesome. It's just a really incredible deck building game I want to do a full review for this one, especially just because my heart is for it, especially. I think that there's a lot more to this game that it gets right than most games I've played. And it's very, very fun. I love it. But just know, if you're looking for a deck building game with incredible value, Shards of Infinity is incredible. Next up is another deck building game. It's my second favorite deck building game. It's I don't know if that's actually true anymore. Maybe. But Star Realms by Wise Wizard Games used to be my most played game of all time. And this is a keep still for me. I was shocked. I thought I was going to be getting rid of my copy of Star Realms Frontiers because why would I play that when I can play Shards of Infinity? But the thing is I don't really like Shards of Infinity's solo mode. However, Star Realms has an incredible solo mode. Star Realms Frontiers specifically has bosses that are really, really interesting. I think 8 bosses or so that all have different rules and all do different things against you, and they're very fun to just break out and play against. And I hadn't played Star Realms in forever, and it scratched an itch that I was like, oh man, I forget that Star Realms is actually really, really good. And I gave this a 4 out of 5. Great. Gotta breathe for a second. Okay. Next up is a game that if you have listened to any of our other videos or listened to the podcast or on our Instagram, you will have seen this game and seen us talk about it, and that is Star Wars Shatterpoint by Atomic Mass Games. I give this an easy keep, 4.5 out of 5. Incredible skirmish game. I obviously love it because of the IP, for starters, but then also the gameplay is incredible. The boards that we've made, the things that Kenny's painted, the characters and their asymmetry and how many there are and how you want to collect and play against all of them, and it's just so fun. I love this, and I can't wait because later this year we're going to see even more characters that I love come out. I'm going to build an entire mercenary deck. Mercenary. I'm thinking Star Wars Unlimited. But I want to build an entire Merc crew with Bosk and Boba Fett and all these characters that I love. Star Wars Shatterpoint's amazing. It's a 4.5 out of 5 because I don't think it's perfect. It can be long. It can be a bit annoying with just absolutely getting screwed by dice rolls. But at the same time, I've yet to play a game of Star Wars Shatterpoint where I didn't leave thinking, man, this game is good, and man, I want to play it again. So 9 out of 10 ain't bad. 4.5 out of 5 is an outstanding score. I think it's the third highest I've rated so far, so great game. Next up is Explorers of the North Sea by Garphill Games, and this is a keep for now. I really like this game. I remember a long time ago playing this game. I think there's a gameplay of it on our channel even, because I got it, introduced it to Max, and was just over the moon about this the way it is. And it's hard to explain. It's a tile laying game for sure because it matters where map pieces are placed, but really it's action efficiency because you are Vikings going around and as tiles are placed on the map, you're able to travel further on boats, and you need to go out. You need to conquer villages. You need to defeat ships. You need to bring back animals, and all of that will get you points, like a real point salad in that way. But it's just unique. I really enjoyed this game. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's pretty good. I'm sure like there's it's not going to hit for everybody, but it's pretty good. Next up is SPACESHIPPED by Buttonshy, and I think I've had a Buttonshy game in every single video so far. I've kind of spread them out because they're really easy to table, and at the same time, like, just really, really fun. But I actually took this one with me to Europe and played it while... actually learned it and played it while on a train from Galway to Dublin in Ireland, and it was the perfect like little train game. Loved playing this game. I think I played it like 2 or 3 times, and it's all about like racing this evil guy who's trying to collect all of these like shards and stuff, but you're also trying to collect shards by getting enough money to be able to purchase them. And the first, like, if you're able to build this engine out, like literally, because you're also building out like you're upgrading your ship, but literally building this engine of money out as best you can, and then sometimes like just like smuggling, like you feel like Han Solo a bit. Bad things can happen. You can lose cargo, or people can rob you, and so how long are you going to hold on to that like precious item just to get the best like value for it when you sell it? So it's really, really good. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5, but I think over multiple plays it could raise up like a ton. It's just because I only played it that 2 times, but I mean it's really like on my list of Buttonshy games, it would be up there. And if I wish that I had played that before our Buttonshy video that we did fairly recently, but really good. Next up is French Quarter by 25th Century Games, and this is also a keep for now. I was not as impressed by this because this is in the same group of games as Three Sisters, and there's also like a boating game that was before Three Sisters, because Three Sisters was the second in the series. I'm forgetting what it is specifically, but French Quarter is like that next one, and it's they're all like heavier roll and writes, and this one's really good. It's just a bit complicated, and I only played it solo. I'm interested to see if Emily enjoys this because she loves New Orleans, and if Max and Kenny like this, and if one of those two groups really likes this game, I'll keep it. But it's not like one that I want to keep just for solo play. I actually think that Three Sisters might be better, but we'll see after multiple plays. So next up is I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. A lot of 3.5s today. I'm told you guys. There's a lot of like those in the middle, but like really, really good games that I'm willing to keep and willing to go back to. But just on the edge, some of these of being cold. Next up is by Left Justified Studio. This is Broken and Beautiful. Emily and I have talked about this quite a few times. It's a game about kintsugi, which I think I'm pronouncing correctly, which is the Japanese art of breaking pottery and then like essentially gluing it back together with melted down gold, and it creates really beautiful pattern and makes the pottery worth even more after you're able to piece it all back together. And this is it's a pretty simple set collection style game, almost like Sushi Go, but with like a little bit less, like in terms of different like things that you're collecting. You gotta break some pottery and be strategic about which ones you're gonna let break at the end of the round, because you also need gold, which is a resource to be able to fix those. And if you fix them in time, but before the end of the game, you're able to get more points from them. However, you're limited because you don't, like, every time you choose to get gold, you're deciding not to get a card, and then everything that's still broken at the end of the game that you're not able to fix doesn't score you anything. And so it's interesting. Maybe a little bit of push your luck, but not really, because it's not like, oh, like you're surprised by the game end. It's just, what am I going to let be broken? And do I realistically think there are enough cards left in the deck that I can fix everything that I'm letting get broken. And it's good. It's a nice little strategic game. I give it a 3, like literally a 3 out of 5, which is good to me. And it's a keep for now. Again, I think that it will be a keep for a long time, just because this is, I mean, it's tiny, it's beautiful, it's really easy to play, and I like it. So why would I call it? Next up is another. We started with Fuse. We're going to the first Kane Klenko game, and when I met him, I had played this game with him, and he taught me it before Tablenauts was ever a thing. That whole story is actually on the video for this game called Pandemic Rapid Response. And in the same vein as Fuse, where it's fast-paced dice rolling, you're on the clock, this game, it just brings that into the Pandemic universe with unique like options and decision making, with flying this giant plane around trying to deliver resources to all of these, you know, outbreaking cities. And Pandemic Rapid Response is really good. I think that a lot of people might just easily skip this game because they see, like, you know, the clock and like all of that stuff, because I don't know, there's just like a preconceived notion in this hobby that like time-based games and fast-paced games are not thinky games, but I think there's plenty of decision-making to make in this, and it's also difficult. It's also very difficult and very fun. I enjoyed this. I think I played it solo this last month, and I lost. I think I was on like the second highest or second lowest difficulty. Like it wasn't supposed to be as hard as I made it, and it was a lot of fun. I didn't mind losing because it was a good game. I need to find out what my time is. We are already so far. So let's rapid response. After Pandemic Rapid Response, we're going to go through quite a few games. Some of these I've already talked about, like the Guild of Merchants Explorers, AEG, Easy Keep, 4.5 out of 5. Really, really great game. Definitely for those of you that enjoy exploring and the sense of starting small but being able to do just incredible turns by the end of the game. Awesome game like that. KARIBA, just added the game over here, immediately learned and played it. It's a very, very quick, fun little card game about trying to strategically play cards around this well to scare off smaller numbered cards and collect them, and like thematically it's really cute because it's animals scaring off other animals from this watering hole, and I love it. It's a very, very cute little game. 3.5 out of 5 for me. It's nothing like, you know, groundbreaking, but it's a really good game, and I'm going to keep it. Next up is Resist by 25th Century Games, and this one, I'm going to pause for a second because it was on my best solo games of all time. It is still way up there. In fact, after playing it more, I love it even more. And this is a keep for me. It's a 5 out of 5. The only thing is, I wonder if Witchcraft will be the better game. I just purchased that at Gen Con, and I don't intend to keep both. I fully intend to play Witchcraft and decide, is this the better game like everybody says it is, or is it just, you know, a re-theme? And honestly, personally, I know everybody loves the Witchcraft theme more, but I think I would actually prefer the, you know, Spanish Resistance, because I took a lot of classes in college about, you know, Spanish culture and Spanish history, and it just really interests me. I loved Resist, and I'm really sad that it did not get as much love as I hoped it would, but Witchcraft is getting a ton of love, so hopefully it does really, really well. Next up is Railroad Inc. by Horrible Guild. I played finally the Blazing Red edition, which is my favorite of the Railroad Inc. system. I give it a 4 out of 5. It's great. I am very much looking forward to the Railroad Inc. tile Kickstarter. Fully intend to back that, because my least favorite thing about this, and why it gets not a 5 out of 5, is that I hate drawing. I really do. I don't like drawing with markers on the little marker board, because the way I draw, I just rub it off with my left hand, and it's the worst. Anyway, next up is Merchants of Magic, which is a what is that called? Roll and Write. My goodness. It might be my favorite Roll and Write by Rock Manor. I give it by a 4 out of 5. It's great. The way that you are trying to, as a merchant, learn the skills in order to craft certain items, like Greaves and learn runes like lightning or frost, will all help you be able to achieve and create the orders that pass by. And what's really cool is that there's cards that are circling the table, and you're hoping that 2 or 1 player down that they're not going to finish the ability to make a lightning spear, and so it passes to you. And when it comes to you, if you have already learned how to make a spear and you've already learned how to make the rune lightning, then you can take that card as one that you have fulfilled, and it's very fun. By the end of the game, people are fulfilling orders every single turn, and it's very well done. Next up is KINFIRE Delve by Incredible Dream. This is a 1 to 2 player game, but I only played it solo, and I really, really like it solo. And it's a dungeon delving game, but only with a hand of a deck of cards. And you're attempting to make your way all the way down to the boss fight. And the reason this game shines is because the boss fights are very, very fun. There are 3 boxes of it now, and I've played 2 of them. And I think that they're worth owning, and it might be worth getting all 3, to be honest. I'm looking forward to playing the 3rd one. And the first 2, they have 2 different characters in each box that you can play as, and 1 boss that you can face. And so I think just because of that alone, you might want to face more than just 1 boss, and it has a whole new deck of a dungeon for you to face. It makes it worth going back to. But very, very fun. That leads to a game night with Max and Danielle, which we played Fiction and HEXAQUEST. Fiction by All Play is basically just Wordle competitive with a trader mechanic. And if any of that sounds cool to you, I would highly recommend looking into it. And if that sounds like it's the worst game ever, definitely don't look into it. If you're not a fan of Wordle and you're not a fan of lying, don't play Fiction. But if you are, it might be for you. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I think it's good the way we played it, but Max mentioned this in his review of this, that team play is a little boring. It might just be better 1v1 because 1 player, especially when you're waiting for the other team to get it, it can just be sitting there and it'd be kind of boring. So Fiction, 3 out of 5, good. Not great, but good for me. And then HEXAQUEST, same thing, 3 out of 5. I'm just really bad at trivia games, but Max actually got the full version of this, and I think HEXAQUEST is the best trivia game I've ever played. It's just they're not really my thing. I'm happy to play them. In fact, I love that Emily and Danielle are incredibly smart and play this game really, really well. I did love that they added a gaming section because I felt like the smartest person in the room whenever a gaming question came up. And I'm looking forward to trying the board game one, the board game knowledge one. That sounds really fun too. Next up is COUTURE by All Play. We actually reviewed this in a little set of reviews not too long ago. This is a Cull to Kenny, but it really wasn't even a Cull because All Play sent us it. And so we all take turns taking the games that people send us after we play them, especially if we like it. If we're in love with the game, we just let that person have the game. And Kenny liked it a lot more than I did. I give it a 3 out of 5. It's a good, really, really cute set collection game. And yeah, that's about all you need to know. COUTURE, good. Next up is one that I'm not even sure that you can buy, but it's called Spotlight by Jack of Peace Games. This was given to us by our buddy Jay, who we played Pictomania with 2 years ago at Gen Con. And he heard that I enjoyed area control and that I enjoyed hidden information. And this is a hidden information area control card game. Its production is nothing to get super excited about it, but it's just a simple deck of cards, and I love it. It's a 4 out of 5. I wish that I had played this more with other people because I've really only played this solo, but it's very, very good. And I wish that it got more attention because it is incredibly well made. Good job, Jay. Next up is Hues and Cues, which we played Hues and Cues, Just One, Medium, and Similo, all with some friends of ours, Emily and I, with our friends Heather and Ben, and we were introducing them to a lot of these games, and their excitement for them made me like them even more. I'm really sorry, guys. All of these are keeps because they're just staples for introducing people to gaming. And Hues and Cues by the Op is very fun. It's very simple. You're going to look at this giant board of colors and you're going to be given a card if you're the clue giver, and you're going to try to tell people a word that points them to that color, and then everybody else is going to take turns putting their cones, cones, eyeball cones. Did you get it? And whoever is closest or whoever is spot on, all of the cones that are near the color that it was gets points, and you get points as the clue giver for how many people you get close to the correct answer. And Hues and Cues, super fun, and it's super funny. I think that this game shines when you're in a group of people you're comfortable with, because you can be like, why do you think that looks like a tennis ball? That is like green, like green. When's the last time you played tennis? And being able to kind of chirp each other for how bad we are at seeing the proper color and giving clues is really funny and very fun. So Hues and Cues, 3.5 out of 5 for me, pretty good, easy keep. Again, all of these next 4 are going to be keeps. Just One by Repost Production, another 3.5. This is one that I used to would have tell you that it was wow, that was a weird sentence. I used to say that this was a 5 out of 5. I just think I've played it way too much. I don't get as excited about this game as I used to. What I get from games like Just One, I think I get better now from So Clover. And what I get from games like So Clover, I might get best from Codenames. And so the more I think about it, the more I'm like, is this actually like a really, really great game? Or do I have really fond memories of Just One? And I think the latter might be true more than the former. And so I give it a 3.5. It's pretty good. It's still a keep because, again, a lot of people love this, and it's a really easy one to teach people. Next up is Medium, which is a really interesting, fun game that Jeff and Jamie taught Emily and I, and we immediately purchased our own. It's by Greater Than Games, and it is also, like all of these party games so far, 3.5 out of 5. It's a keep because it might be one of Emily's favorites, and all it is two people will play cards that are two random, or not random, but because you're playing the cards, but two words, and you'll look at those two words and try to associate a word with both things at the same time. And you're trying to figure out what is most like common that the other person might think of as a combination of those two words. And then you're going to count down 3, 2, 1 and say the word at the same time that you were thinking of that you associate with those two words. And if it's the same word, then you've won. You've done a good job. If it's not, you take those two words that you just said and associate them together again and try to match. And you get 3 tries and you get significantly less points the more tries you take. And then you keep doing that with the partner. And this game is unique because you don't just win yourself, you win with a partner. And essentially you're saying, we're the best at communicating without communicating. And we think the most similar, I guess. And it's very good. We like to use it as like a how well do you know each other style game, and it's very cool. And then lastly, Similo, probably the best of the night for me. Not probably, definitely the best of the night for me. It's by Horrible Guild, and I give it a 4 out of 5. It's an easy keep, great little game, and I think at this point it's hard to say, but it might do all of the good things that Mysterium does in a much more contained and quick game. Because it's just a pack of cards and it plays way quicker, and Similo is just really good. It's like somebody played Mysterium and was like, I can make this, but cut out all of the fluff. Next up is El Grande, which I've already talked about, again, in a previous video. But El Grande I purchased because I really enjoyed playing it on BGA, and I saw how beautiful the new production was, and it's a 5 out of 5. It's maybe one of the best games of all time. And it's one of my favorite area controls, but it's just, I love it. I sincerely love this game, and I think that it's insane that this game came out essentially when I was born 30 years ago, and it still holds up this well. It might be the most, I don't know. It's one of the best games that has held up for that long. And I really enjoy it, especially considering how many area control games come out. So many area control games come out yearly, and this game still shines as it does. Next up is probably going to be my lowest rated keep. And it's Happy Salmon. And I give it a 2.5 because base game kind of sucks. It's not very good. It's by Exploding Kittens. And essentially everybody's going to get a deck of, like a hand of cards that you will flip over one at a time, and it'll tell you to do something, whether that's a fish bump where you're bump fist with somebody, Happy Salmon, which you're gonna do this with each other's arms, switch it up where you're going to change seats with somebody at the table, or I think it's high five, so you're gonna high five somebody. Simple. And so everybody's trying to accomplish these as fast as possible, but you can only accomplish those if you get somebody's attention who also has the same card as you at that moment. And then you do the thing, and then you can throw that card down as if you've done it. And the first person to get rid of all of the cards wins. Good, it's meh. It's meh. However, homebrewing this game can be amazing. And I say that to say I've played this in groups of up to 20, I think, or more. And I like to play this elimination style where everybody gets a hand of 3 or 4 cards, and you're doing it exactly as the game said. You're going around and trying to find people to who have the same card as you, and you're accomplishing it. Switch it up. We just changed to say, instead of changing positions, you're literally doing a do-si-do, and you're spinning around. And as you accomplish everything, you go sit at a table with one less chair in it, a la musical chairs. And the last person to sit, or the last person to get there and doesn't get a seat and doesn't accomplish all of their cards, loses the game. And then you just keep going until there is one winner. And of course, that does cause some player elimination, but it becomes really, really exciting. And even just watching people play this is super funny and fun. So I would say it's a really good group game if you get it and homebrew it, but base game, not so much. We have a few more. And it's time to talk about Strike by Ravensburger. It is a keep. 4.5 out of 5. Incredible game. At camp where I was in July, I actually bought a whole bunch of blow-up dice, and we played a giant version of Strike. But it's one of those that, it just works really, really well, whether you're incredibly competitive and love heavy games or you're brand new to the hobby. Strike is one of those that, it gets you rowdy. It gets rowdy around the table. And all you're doing is throwing dice. But everyone has a different way that they do it, and they get your only decision space really is, do I push my luck or not? And I love games like that. It's fun to throw the dice in and try to knock them around to get pairs and more. And the best part about that game is when all of the dice in the middle are eliminated by either you collecting them or rolling X's, and then you make the next person have to roll all of their dice into the middle. And that, it's just, it's so back and forth and swingy and fun. And I don't know if there is and ever will be a better just push your luck dice rolling game. I really don't think that I can name one. Can't Stop is really good, but Strike is the best for sure. Next up is Deep Rock Galactic by Mood Publishing, and this is a keep at a 3.5 out of 5 for me. And it is a dungeon delver with minis, and it's similar to the video game. The only thing is, I don't know how often this will get broken out, and it's nothing that gets me incredibly, incredibly excited. And I think if it wasn't for the IP, I would cull this. But I've painted the minis. I love the video game, and so it's an easy like collector's item to have. But I would be shocked if this hits the table more than once a year. But still, Deep Rock Galactic, a keep. And then lastly, this seems like such a silly one to talk about on this channel, because you guys all know about it already. But this is Chess by who knows? I don't know. I don't know what publisher published it first. Just go to your local Walmart or Target or wherever you do your shopping, and it's probably there. This is a keep for me. Emily loves it. She, growing up, was a chess, like, I'm going to call her a chess champion, because in my heart, she was. But she was on a chess team. Like, they won trophies. She, in Kentucky, I think, at one point, she beat the #1 player in the state in a chess tournament. It's just fun to break this out and get really competitive in a game against each other, because when we first started playing a long time ago, she would just crush me, like, every single time. But that made me want to learn. Like, there's a deep dive that you can take into this game, and I think that's a marking of a really good game. I think way too many people just kind of write this off now as, oh yeah, of course, it's one of the most popular games of all time, like, whatever. But it's that for a reason. And when we talked about El Grande being like just a game that lasted and is a really good area control game now, 30 years later, chess is, I don't know how many, like over 100 years old, and it stood the test of time. I don't know if there's a better abstract strategy game out there, really, especially if you get two people who care about the game, who know some strategy, and get playing against each other. Like, I've loved playing against Emily, and I love this game. It's a 4.5 out of 5 for me. If only that 0.5 gets taken off, because I think if you don't have a person who is your equal in the game, or a person that you're willing to lose to a bunch, it can just be really boring. It's like, oh, of course, like, we're going to play this, you're going to win, I'm not. Like, and that can be off-putting for a lot of people. But chess is great, and it's awesome, and I'm glad we own it. Emily has her little bag with her really, really nice pieces that we break out from time to time, and I'm really glad that we played this. And it's making me want to play it even more. But chess is great. It's a keep, 4.5. And thank you, if you made it to this part of the video, for watching and for giving me grace, for forgiving me for not putting out more videos, and for not putting out one last month for June and all of that. I'm behind for sure from where I should be at this point, but now that the busy summer is over, I highly expect that I'll get some more gaming in. I'll start making this push in the fall to get all of my games done. And if you want to watch and see if I fail at playing every single game I have by the end of the year, or if you want to see if I actually accomplish it, I highly recommend you hit the subscribe button, like the video, and also hit the little like notify bell thing so that you know whenever we post again. Thank you so much again for watching. You guys are the best. You are super encouraging when I really, really need it, and when I have a hard time, pushing through making a video. You're what you say matters. And so thank you so much for those of you that do say nice things and encourage us to keep making stuff. You guys are the best. We'll see you next time.